العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين وعلى من تبع هداهم إلى يوم الدين. After praising Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and passing salutation upon His Messenger Muhammad, may peace and blessings be upon him, we inshallah are about to discuss one of the five pillars that Islam is based upon, and that is the fifth one, is always mentioned the last, that is to make Hajj if you are capable. And we have learned from our Shaykh Al-Albani rahimahullah that if the TV was to transmit things that would be an aid to propagate the da'wah and the deen, if the TV was to transmit how the prayer is performed according to the Sunnah, how is the Hajj is performed according to the Sunnah, how all these practical ibadah that need to be watched rather than to be hid, then no way, no doubt, except that the Shaykh would say and the scholars would say that gaining a TV would be compulsory. But because we know that the TV does not transmit just those things, most of the transmission is about haram. But if it's to do how to pray, we know for a fact, 100%, that when we see something more of effect, more of beneficial, more of learning, than listening to it. So if we see the Hajj with our own eyes and learn it, the way we capture the geographical places there, what should be done, and all of that, that will be very helpful to the brothers and the sisters. And with the brothers here, we have made it, if the sisters want to come inside, there is a barrier for the table. You could get closer to the table as possible, and you could see as well the projector they wish. Because listening to the Hajj without looking at it is not going to be as beneficial as seeing it. As the Prophet ﷺ said, لَيْسَ الْخَبَرْ كَالْمُعَايَنَةِ. That is, verily, something when you hear it is not as effective as when you see it. And then he said, Musa alayhi salam, when he heard what his people had done behind his back, he didn't do anything. But when he saw them with his own eyes, he realized how bad they have reached to when they have worshipped the calf. Straight away he had broken the tablets. So he threw the tablets on the floor as a result of what he had seen. But when he had heard it, before he had seen it, he didn't do anything. There's no impact. لَيْسَ الْخَبَرْ كَالْمُعَايَنَةِ. So seeing something is not like hearing it. When you see it, it have more of an impact on the heart. So we know for a fact that learning such knowledge through technology would be very good. But we don't go as far as those people who are building Kaabas in Africa or some other countries, building another Kaaba and making people to rotate around it. That's haram. Building a miniature Kaaba, making people to go around in and acting that they're going to Hajj. No, that's not really demonstration. That's hallucination. Sound the same, but they're not the same. Demonstration and hallucination are different. So that is definitely not allowed. So, with no exceptions, I would say that, alhamdulillah, using the PowerPoint presentation regarding such a knowledge would be very beneficial. So straight away we'll go with the start with this, and we will be doing an overview plan, which is what we're going to be doing. We're going to be an introduction, talking about the excellence of the Hajj, and we're talking about the important issues in the Hajj, and preparation, what to take, and Hajj and Umrah related definitions, and time of the Hajj. Okay? Just have a look at it. Okay, so very good, mashallah. Say that all the time we prove that we are mashallah Salafis by nothing to do with technology. Also, we're going to be discussing the geographical places of the Umrah, I'm sorry about the sisters, you can't see anything. This is the best I can do. Right. And the journey, and Umrah step by step. And of course also stay in Mecca. From that as well, we'll be talking about the Hajj step by step and recap visiting the Medina. Right, let's just go ahead straight away. Before I forget, we'll be handed the thing that will project. Like our masjid, you have a projector stuck to the wall 24 hours. All the procedures you supply it on the wall, and there's no hustle of half an hour. You see when you put it one day like this, hand it over this. Very good business. Very good. You know, I'm just saying, another project, leave the projector there. The Prophet ﷺ, he said, العمرة إلى العمرة كفارة لما بينهما والحج المبرور ليس له جزاء إلا الجنة. The expiation of the Umrah to the Umrah is sin expiation. And also the Hajj al-Mabrur, which we're going to discuss what is the Hajj al-Mabrur, there will be no reward for it except for Jannah. And lots of ahadith regarding the Hajj. One of them is to detail the rewards one by one, which is a hadith. I'm going to narrate it. Before that, I will narrate what Umar al-Khattab had said, radiyallahu anhu. That is, he said, let him die as a Christian or a Jew. He said it 3 times. Let him die as a Christian or a Jew. Let him die as a Christian or a Jew. A man died and did not make Hajj. And Allah has given him expansion in his wealth and his route. His route is safe. The hadith that I would like to discuss with you, inshallah, is in Sahih Targhib of Shaykh al-Albani, and it's authentic. Whereas 2 men came to the Prophet ﷺ, one from Thaqif and one from the Ansar, and the Messenger of Allah said to them, shall you go ahead and ask me, or shall I tell you what you came to ask me? He said, Messenger of Allah, you tell us. He said, as for you, you came to ask me, what is your reward in the actual acts of the Hajj? He said, yes, Messenger of Allah, what was I came to ask you for? He said, the moment you come out of your house, the moment, is this off or on the microphone? Is that feedback? The moment, you see, lots of gains gone. It's technology. The moment you have set up in your house, then every step that your she-camel traverses, Allah will put you hasana and will remove a sin from you. As for your 2 rak'ah after the tawaf, then it will be like freeing a slave of the son of Ismail. As for your tawaf, the sa'i between Safa and Marwa, it's like freeing 70 slaves. As for your standing up on Arafah, Allah will descend down and He will boast about His slaves before His angels. He would say to them, look at my slave coming from far and near with disheveled hair, uncombed hair, hoping for my mercy. For verily, if their sins to be like the particles of the sand, or as many as the drops of the rain, or the froth of the scum, or the froth of the sea, I would have forgiven them. Go ahead, my slaves, for you have been forgiven, and for whom you have interceded for. As for your throwing the jamarat, for every throw, 1 major sin will be removed. As for your slaughtering of your hadi, that will be saved for you with your Lord. As for your shaving of your head, for every single hair that you shave, you'll have a hasana given and a sin to be removed. And don't worry if you're bald, Allah will give you the same. And as for your tawaf, after that, which is the tawaf al-ifadah, and you will have tawaf and there will be no sin against you. An angel will come and will put his hands between your shoulders and he will say, go ahead and work for the future, for verily everything before was forgiven. Khalas. And that is why the person who makes Hajj comes back is like a newly born baby. Hajj that we want is the Hajj al-Mabrur, which is an acceptable Hajj. The Hajj al-Mabrur means it is an intention to seek Allah's pleasure. A Hajj which is performed in accordance with the Sunnah and with obedience to Allah, and which follows, and when which is full of the obedience of Allah, that means it is free from disobedience, and also is not followed by disobedience. Hajj which includes righteous deeds also. From the important things about the Hajj, the fifth pillar of Islam, as we said, Hajj or Umrah or an Umrah are obligatory once in your life. If you do Hajj Tamattu', which will include Umrah with it, then it will become your Hajj that is required from you and your Umrah which is required from you. Now when we say that Hajj was made obligatory on the year 10 after Hijrah, it means that the Hajj is compulsory as soon as you are capable of making the Hajj. You cannot delay it. Because the Prophet of Allah, he made Hajj in the year 10 after Hijrah, straight away after the Hajj was made obligatory. So he made Hajj on the year when the Hajj was made obligatory. So it becomes compulsory on you if you are a Muslim. Somebody sneezes and he says Alhamdulillah loudly, so everybody can say Alhamdulillah. Say loud, Alhamdulillah, so everybody can say to you Alhamdulillah. Otherwise we're not going to say Alhamdulillah to you. So when you sneeze, you have to say Alhamdulillah. Never mind interruption. So it's an adulthood is reached when the person, he had seen a wet dream, or he had a pubic hair, or he reached the 15 years old. But if he's a girl, then there's another one, or she had menstruated. So all of that, the adulthood signs. And also he's sane. If he's insane, there is no Hajj of one. And he has to be free, and he is not slave. If he's slave, and he made Hajj, it will be accepted, but if he gets his freedom, he has to make his Hajj again. He has to be capable, health-wise, financial-wise, safety of route, transport, provision, all of that. And he has no excuse to stay behind, like scared of a tyrant leader or in an imprisonment sentence. For the woman, husband or mahram, permission is required. So, husband or a mahram to accompany her. So if she is a woman, she cannot go on her own. If she made Hajj or Umrah on her own, her Hajj will be accepted, but she'll be sinned, because she needs a mahram or a husband. Now, also from the importance issue of the Hajj, it is highly recommended for the woman, that is to seek the wali's permission. If she's married, it's her husband. If she's not married, it's her father. If her father is not alive, and her elder brother. She has to seek permission. Now, the person who doesn't allow his wife or his daughter or his sister to make Hajj, and yet Hajj is compulsory upon her, it's the first Hajj for her, he'll be sinned. She's allowed to go without his permission, but we don't really encourage that. As for the Hajj or Umrah voluntary, she must seek the wali or the husband's permission. A woman making Hajj without a mahram, as we said, she'll be sinned, her Hajj will be valid. A woman who has menses, she does everything that the Hajj does, except for the Tawaf and the Sa'i, and of course the prayer. Now, she cannot fast, but fast is not from the rituals of the Hajj. Now, in case of the child, the slave, we said, is his Hajj accepted, and once he becomes free, he has to make his Hajj for Islam. Also the same thing for the child, the non-adult. His Hajj is accepted, his parents will be rewarded, and he will be rewarded when he's a young child, but it will not be his Hajj for his Islam. So, we say that once the child becomes an adult, then he has to perform his Hajj of Islam. The child's Hajj is treated just like the adult in terms of fulfilling obligations and avoiding prohibitions. And there will be no penalties incurred if the child left an obligation or committed a prohibition. So, if the child is old enough, then we tell him what to do and what to say, If he's not old enough, cannot distinguish, then we will do everything on his behalf. Right, if the person has enough money to do either his obligatory Hajj or his marriage, and both are persisting needs, then we say the prioritization goes to persisting what he's in need. If he's in need of desperate of marriage, then he will do the marriage and he will postpone the Hajj for the following. Of course, if you've got the money enough for both, you do both. What you prepare for Hajj? Sincerity. You pay your records of debts, you write and update your will, and money if used for the Hajj is to be from halal. Try to accompany a knowledgeable person, learn about Hajj and Umrah, attend lectures, read, learn and memorize some of the du'as. Learn how to pray Salat al-Janazah, because we've got lots of Janazah prayer, funeral prayer. And learn the rulings of Salat al-Safar, the traveling prayer. And of course, how to visit the graves. As for the sisters, they're not allowed to visit the graves, even though we say it is equally important for the sisters to visit the graves as the brothers. Medical checkup is important as well. Now the debts are a very serious matter, but it's not precondition to be free of debt in order to be Hajj. So pay all your debts. If you're not able, make arrangement. Okay, so ensure the family members they know about it. Write Islamic will and update it. If the debt is due, you must take a permission in order to make Hajj from the creditor. So if he gives you permission, there's no problem. Otherwise, you're going to be sinned. Hajj is valid. It is permissible to take a loan for Hajj, but we don't recommend that. It is disliked because we don't want to put you and you don't want to put yourself into a financial burden, because a Hajj is only compulsory from those who are financially capable. Prepare your documents when packing things, making sure that you are really light. So stay light as much as possible. Only take what is really needed, like your prescription, for example. Choose your light items. Everything is in Saudi Arabia. You don't have to worry. Don't take things which are valuable, because you might lose them. Right, who's going Hajj for this year? Nobody. Ihram towels for men. Successive towels, because you might make the ihram on board of the plane. So you might put them on before you board the plane. As for the men, this is only. Medication, money, and money because you shop around, because the pound is plunging down these days. Traveling belts, no problem as these ones. You might find some people telling you traveling belts has to be, metal, because it can't be sewn stitches. You don't know what they're talking about. So, but it's important to take a Hajj belt. Reason behind this, lots of people go there to steal people. Their intention is not to make Hajj or Umrah. Make sure that they will pinch your money. Those people who are ignorant, they'll have the money stolen in no time. In no time. So pay attention to the advice. In terms of clothing, comfortable and modest clothes are required. Sherwal, kameez, whatever. Because hot. Women, they can wear any normal clothes as long as they don't really, bring the see-through or, for example, tight ones. Okay, avoid the nylon because they're uncomfortable in the hot weather. In Medina, during the winter season, maybe they school during the Fajr, so you need maybe like jackets. Socks are good with you as well to take them along, especially for the voluntary tawaf, because if you are in state of ihram as a man, you can't put socks on. Slippers and sandals, those are okay, no problem. So those are okay as well. Okay. It's okay. I just want to, can I have it from this side? Yeah, just like the one. That's better. Now for sleeping, maybe in Muzdalifah, that's what you need. In Muzdalifah, if your company is not prepared to give you anything, they could just bring that with you in Muzdalifah. And everything that will be there. So you could just buy it from there if you want. Also, some of the things that some people they can't sleep without eye covers and earplugs and all of that. Might take them as well if you wish. Safety pins because of your towels when you wrap them on top of your body. Mask for in case of for example, viruses and dust, but you're not allowed to put them on your Sayyid al-Ihram, unless it is a necessity. Now that sa'i or counter beads, that's for those people who cannot remember how many rounds they might make. Confusing, 1 or 2, you could be doing 10 and they still think, oh, this is 7 or 6, and maybe already 10. It's because they forget. So the counter beads will be helping to tell you how many. Right, what to take as well, Vaseline.
What about the earplugs? Sorry. Earplugs, there was earplugs on them.
Yeah.
What are they for?
For people who want to sleep, that they can't sleep.
Sorry to interrupt.
No problem. Right, sometimes people they take as well with them Vaseline to lubricate because it's hot. Sometimes it's important as well to take with you a small book of authentic dua and a small bag for pebbles for throwing the jamarat. Right, I'm going to go a bit fast because of the time. We've already started late, which we're supposed to be 1:45. And mobile, very important. Mobile is everything now. Everything is on mobile. It's Quran, it's alarm clock, it's communication, so it's important. And you need a charger as well for your mobile. Make sure that you switch off your mobile during the masjid time. Right. A lot of patience. You can't carry that in the bag, but you have to carry that in the heart. You need it always, especially at the end. So you find people go there to irritate you. So don't get angry, solve things positively, and ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to help you. And remember what you need. You want Hajj Mabrur. Hajj, that's your concern. Allah accept your Hajj. Right. The months of the Hajj are the last 3 months of the Islamic calendar. Shawwal, Dhul Qa'dah, and Dhul Hijjah. Those are called months of the Hajj. As for the days of the Hajj, they are in the last month. 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, and 13th. The last 3 days are called days of Tashriq. So the Hajj days are in the last month, which is Dhul Hijjah. It's come from the Hajj word. So if the days of the Hajj in the 8th, the 9th, the 10th, the 11th, 12th, and 13th of Dhul Hijjah, what has got to do with it? Shawwal and Dhul Qa'dah. You see those, the months of the Hajj, but it doesn't mean that you can make Hajj in them. It means that if the person is doing Hajj Tamattu' or Qiran, you could start his Umrah as early as the month of Shawwal. Alhamdulillah. As early as the month of Shawwal. So you could just make it in Shawwal and wait for 2 long months until he makes his Hajj. So no problem about that. Kinds of Hajj, Tamattu', and this is the one you're supposed to do, which is Umrah first, then declare state of no Ihram, and then you do Hajj on the 8th day of the Hijjah. And that requires Hani, sacrificial animal. Second one is Qiran, which is Umrah and Hajj at the same time. So you make Umrah and you don't take your clothes of Ihram. As soon as 8th day comes in, you go into the Hajj. So you don't take off your Ihram clothes like you do in the Makkah. Also a Hani, sacrificial animal, is required. Last one is called Hajj Ifrat, which is only Hajj, no Umrah, whether before or after. No Hani is required, sacrificial animal. And this is only for the Makkiyans who are in Mecca. And that's the correct opinion, because the Makkiyans only can do Hajj only in itself. Right, the Prophet ﷺ commanded his companions to do Tamattu'. Right, where is the locations of the Hajj rituals? First of all, there's something called Mawaqit. What is a Mawaqit? Plural of Miqat. It's a boundary, spot, place, whatever you want to call it. Person who's intending Hajj or Umrah may not cross it, may not pass it until he's declared state of Ihram. He has assumed Ihram for Hajj or Umrah or both. So, he who crosses the Miqat, that spot, without Ihram, must return back to his Miqat and make Ihram from there. If you don't do that, then you're going to be sinned, a major sin. So you may not pass that point if you are intending Hajj or Umrah. If you're going for business, in Mecca is no problem. The Mawaqit are mentioned by the Prophet ﷺ to be 5. They are considered in red color. Dhul Hulayfa, Al-Juhfa, Qarn al-Manazil, Yalamlam. And then in the second hadith you find Dhatu Irqa. Those are the 5 places. Let's just discuss them in a map. Dhul Hulayfa, for the persons or the people coming from the direction of the Medina, is the farthest one from Mecca. It's 255 miles north of Mecca. So for those people coming from Sham as well, passing by Medina, this is their Miqat, the spot where they cannot pass until they declare state of Ihram. Second one is on the Red Sea. It's called Al-Juhfa, and it's in a city called Rabigh. For those people coming from North Africa and all of that, if you want to come from that direction, it's 127 miles away. Right, Rabigh. And Dhatu Irqa, for people coming from Iraq. This is Iraq direction, which is in the eastern side of Mecca, 55 miles away. And the closest one, which is Qarn al-Manazil, for the people coming from Najd. Okay? It's 20 miles away, coming from Najd. And last one is the Lam, which is people coming from Yemen. Coming from Yemen or any direction from that side. Now, if you happen to be that you are living inside the Mawaqit, then your Miqat is from where you are. You don't have to go back. So if you live, for example, let's say in Jeddah, which is inside, you don't go back to Rabigh or to Yalamlam. No. It's from Jeddah you make your Hajj or Umrah because that's where you live. So if you live within and inside the Mawaqit, those places, don't go back to the Miqat, but make your Ihram and assume your Ihram from where you are. Right, Haram of Mecca. Haram of Mecca is the sanctified area which Ibrahim alayhi salam had supplicated to Allah to make it. So it was made as to be sanctified area. And the Prophet of Allah, he had put boundaries for that city of Mecca. And flags have been put to that area. It's about 212 meters squared, or miles squared, sorry. Or 550 kilometers squared, or square kilometer. This is the area of the Haram, and what is not allowed in the Haram is that the following restrictions apply, whether you're in the city of Ihram or not. And they are the same for Medina as well, because the Prophet of Allah, Muhammad, he made Medina to be Haram. Plants must not be cut. Game must not be frightened. Game must not be hunted. An article lost cannot be claimed, but has to be given to the lost and found office, and not to bear arms in such an area. These are the boundaries that marked by this massive stones is beginning of Haram boundary. Can anybody tell me, what do you think it would be written on the other side? Not exit. End of Haram boundary. Do you understand what I just said? On the other side, it will be coming what? End, because it will be coming out. So this will be coming in. So that car, is it inside the Haram or outside the Haram?
Outside.
Who says inside? Put your finger up. Who says outside? Put your finger up. Inside it is. Because it says here, beginning of Haram, means you are coming here. So we are in the picture outside the Haram. We take the picture from outside. So that car, these two cars, they are inside the Haram. Those shops and that house were inside the Haram. Whereas this thing here and those steps, they are outside the Haram. Okay? So you could hunt a pigeon from here, okay, in this area, but you can't hunt a pigeon from inside. Okay? This is the map that shows you, that's Kaaba, and that's the city of Mecca. And that is Arafah, and that is Mina, and that's Muzdalifah. Those are the areas of Hajj. All you need to know about the Kaaba, Mecca, Mina, Muzdalifah, and Arafah. So you'll find them very close to each other. Right, let's just see now, what are the boundaries of the Haram? Not the boundaries of Mawaqit for Hajj and Umrah, for the Haram. That means the area you're not allowed to hunt and bear arms and frighten the game. Remember? is 6 areas. Al-Ji'rana, Al-Nakhla, Arafah, Al-Bahlibin, Hudaybiyah, Al-Tan'im. And those are the distances. You could find here the maximum distances of Arafah, 13.5 miles. So it's not a big area. Remember, it's 212 square mile. 212 square mile is the area. Right, so those are the areas that will show you the boundary of the Haram. If you find a property, something there, you can't, lost property, you can't claim it. You have to give it back to the lost and found and lost office. Right, Mawaqit. This is the Mawaqit and the Haram inside. So you look at the Mawaqit, the ones for Hajj and Umrah, and this is the Haram which is inside it. It's a sketch. Do you understand what we're talking about, guys? Are you following me? Yes? Alright. Here, inshallah. Okay, that's Jeddah inside. So if you happens to come from here and went to Jeddah without declaring State of Ihram, you made it wrong. You have to go back to the Miqat. Because Jeddah is inside the Mawaqit, it's not outside. Okay, Dua of the travel, you learn it in order to make a traveling journey. And then Umrah step by step. One summary, we talk about the summary. Summary is that this is the Umrah. Ihram, Tawaf, Sa'i and Halq. How many points? 4 points. Sorry about that. Can I have some water, please? Oh, inside me. So I'm sweating. Right. Ihram, that's when you declare it in the Mawaqit. Tawaf, which is circumambulation. Sa'i, which is going between Safa and Marwa. And Halq, which is a shaving or the trimming of the taqsir. That's it. Let's go in details now. When you go to the toilet, brothers, go without me asking me. You're going to drop me. Jazakumullah khair. So the person, he is going from outside these areas. When he goes, he has to declare State of Ihram from that area. Right. Preparation for Ihram. Before you see Ihram, recommended to have a ghusl. Now it's permissible for you as well to remove the hair, pubic hair, all of that, take the moustache and all of that. It's permissible for you before Ihram to put perfume, not on the clothes that you're going to be putting for Ihram, but on the body. No problem. Okay, put the Ihram garments, no problem as well for the men. Put them, this is before State of Ihram. Pray the prescribed prayers. If it's Dhuhr, you pray the Dhuhr. Start with the Dhuhr. And if you are going from Dhul Hulayfa, this Miqat which is in Medina, you pray 2 rak'ah. People think these 2 rak'ah is for Ihram. There is no such thing called 2 rak'ah for Ihram. It's only from that place. And only when you pass by land, not by plane. Because there's a valley, it's called Wadi, the valley of the Aqiq, it's a blessed valley. Prophet Allah being asked by Jibreel salam to make 2 rak'ah in that blessed valley. That's it. Right, now up to this point, you haven't done the Ihram yet. You are still in the stage of preparation. And your intention has already been made. Some of you now is having intention to make Hajj in 2 years' time. That's your intention. But to start your Ihram, you must stand up, face the Qibla, and say the following words. Labbaik Allahumma bi Umrah. O Lord, I intend Umrah. Once you say these words, then you are in a state of Ihram. And this is like equivalent to saying Allahu Akbar in the Salah. You know when you say Allahu Akbar in the Salah? So after you say Allahu Akbar, you're allowed to eat, you're allowed to talk, to have a chat, laugh. Same thing when you say Labbaik Allah bi Umrah, there are things you're not allowed to do now. We're going to talk about them in a minute inshallah. Beside those words, add the following supplication. Number 1, Allahumma umratan la riya'a fiha wa la sum'a. O Lord, I intend Umrah without showing off. Same one, Allahumma mahilli haythu habasta. This is even more important. O Allah, I declare a state of no Ihram wherever you restrain me. What does that mean? The person in his Hajj or Umrah, he might incur an injury. Broken leg, broken arm, whatever. Now, if he said these words, then simply what he does, take off his Ihram clothes, put his normal clothes, and go back home. Whereas if you haven't said these words, "Oh Lord, I declare state of no ihram, wherever you restrain me," then you take off your clothes and you finish, and you don't finish your Hajj or Umrah, then penalty number one will be you have to slaughter an animal in Mecca. It's called ihsar, hadi. Number two, you have to compensate for that Hajj or that Umrah the following year. It becomes a debt. Well, if you have said these words, it's no problem. No hadi, then we call it blood, and also you don't need to make it up for the following year. After this, you make talbiyah. لبيك اللهم لبيك لبيك لا شريك لك لبيك إن الحمد والنعمة لك والملك لا شريك لك. Or you could say another talbiyah, لبيك إله الحق. You keep repeating that. لبيك إله الحق لبيك إله الحق. Now follow the talbiyah according to the Sunnah of the Prophet of Allah, which is saying it loud, and you don't say it in groups, shouting groups I call them. And when you say them, you don't say them like a melody. And the following is not right. Can anybody know the talbiyah? Have you ever been Hajj or Umrah? Who has been Hajj before? Only one person? Two people. So we're trying to drag you bit by bit. What's your name, Sheikh? Munib. Munib. You made talbiyah, didn't you? Make talbiyah first.
لبيك اللهم لبيك لبيك لا شريك لبيك إن الحمد والنعمة لكم الملك ولا شريك لك.
Make talbiyah يا شيخ إمام.
لبيك اللهم لبيك لبيك لا شريك لك إن الحمد والنعمة والملك لا شريك لك.
Right, okay. The talbiyah that you heard needs to be corrected. First of all, where the people, they make separation between the words is not right. As in both cases, mashallah, they did not make the melody. But you've heard it like this. لبيك اللهم لبيك. That's all right. لبيك لا شريك لك لبيك. It's on the TV. إن الحمد والنعمة لك والملك لا شريك لك. It's a song. First of all, the talbiyah is like this. لبيك اللهم لبيك. Let's finish your sentence. لبيك لا شريك لك لبيك. Finish your sentence. إن الحمد والنعمة لك والملك. That's a sentence. But because the melody sounds better. إن الحمد والنعمة. Not right. In Arabic it's not right. It doesn't sound right. So it's إن الحمد والنعمة لك والملك. Now where are you going to learn this? The book will not tell you that. You learn this when you go with somebody who's knowledgeable, teach you. Say that. Because that is not in the book. So in order to know this, you have to trouble with scholars. And that is why I urge anyone who wants to make Hajj or Umrah, just to somebody who knows about it. You learn a lot. Things which are not in the book. So, إِنَّ الْحَمْدَ وَالنِّعْمَةَ لَكَ وَالْمُلْكَ لَا شَرِيكَ لَكَ. لَبَّيْكَ إِلَهَ الْحَقِّ. You could say that as well. Remember, it's recommended to keep the previous talbiyah and add as well the following if you want. Can used to say this. لبيك ذا المعارج لبيك ذا الفواضل لبيك وسعديك والخير بيديك والبغضاء إليك والعمل لبيك مرغوبا أو مرهوبا لبيك ذا النعماء والفضل الحسن. Now, also you could mix up the talbiyah with لا إله إلا الله لا إله إلا الله لا إله إلا الله. No problem about that as well. Right. It is obligatory to say the talbiyah loud. And you recommend it to go when you go up and down, up hills, down hills, to make it even loud. Saying the talbiyah in a low voice is against the sunnah. Companions used to lose their voices in Rawha. Rawha is 36 miles away from the Haram, from Medina. That's about 3 hours of walk, and they're finished. Right, in the case of Umrah, talbiyah should be continued until you see Mecca houses. Saying the talbiyah in groups is against the sunnah. Don't be like in shouting groups. Now, the talbiyah, it has a lot of reward. Prophet Allah said, any person makes a talbiyah, everything on his right, on his left, from the trees, the stones will make talbiyah along with it. It is equally a sunnah for a woman, same thing, to have a shower for her ihram. Same thing. A woman in her hayd or nifas, she does take a shower and assumes ihram but does not pray. No difference between the men and women in respect of raising up the voice in talbiyah, except if she fears to cause fitna. Over Aisha, she used to say the talbiyah loudly. So if there's only women around you, no problem, you could really raise up your voice. Now the prohibition of the ihram. What is not allowed to do once you are declared labbaik Allahumma bi'umrah? Number one, in terms of clothing. The men cannot put on sewn clothes, meaning clothes which are made to the limb, like a sleeve, like a jacket, you put your hand through the jacket, like a trouser, like an underwear, like a vest, all of that. And also cannot put something on their head, like a, like this hati, topi, amama, all of those are allowed. Also cannot put gloves on. As for the woman, she could put her normal clothes, no specification of colors, but she cannot put the veil, that is to tie upon her face, and nor she could cover her hands with gloves. Yeah, right, okay. Now if the women are covering their faces in the state of ihram, they don't want to show their faces to the men, simply they can just let a piece of cloth loose to go on top of their face, but you cannot, and I'm emphasizing that you put a niqab by pulling it up to the back. What is prohibited in the ihram? Fragrance, for both men and women. You should not put perfume. Okay? If you have perfume before your body, there's no harm for that. Right? No harm to shake the hand of somebody who's got perfume on. In terms of cleansing, you're not allowed to clip your nails, nor you're allowed to remove your hair from anywhere. Also, you're not allowed to have a marital relation. You're not allowed to have a wedding. That means you make a contract on a sister there or something. You can't do that. So whether it is the marital relation or making the contract of the marriage. You're not allowed to hunt. Hunting or assisting someone to hunt, you should not even kill animals except those who are harmful to you. Like lice, mice, snakes, scorpions, all of that. Now fishing is not hunting. So you could fish if you wish, if you are traveling from the Red Sea, for example. There's no problem with that. Go to the Ihram. Now expiation of the violation of the Haram prohibition. What happens if you have done a violation? Now the restrictions of Ihram in terms of fidya means to ransom, to pay something, are 4 categories. Category number 1 is the marital relation. So if you have made a marital relation with your wife, before you have thrown the jamrah, then you have to produce a camel as a fidya. And your hajj will be invalidated, and you have to do the hajj the following year. So it's costly. And if you've done it after the throwing of the jamrah on the 3rd day, then you have to pay as a sheep fidya, slaughter it. Your hajj is valid. Your hajj is valid. Hunting, if you're hunting, then you have to pay a same equivalent of that animal. So if you're hunting, for example, a gazelle, you might have to go and slaughter a sheep instead of that. Cutting the hair due to illness, like for example you have lice, you need to cut your hair and shave it, then you have to pay the fidya, which is fasting 3 days, feeding 16 poor people, or slaughtering a sheep or cow or camel in the haram of Mecca. If there is no valid reason for cutting your hair, then there will be a penalty of number 1, the sin, and of course number 2, still the fidya to be paid. Now, the restraint. If you remember the dua where he said to you, Allahumma mahilli haythu habastani, O Lord, I declare a state of no ihram if you have restrained me. If you haven't said these words and you have decided to call off your hajj or umrah because of a broken limb, whatever, then you have to slaughter a hadi in Mecca, and also at the same time you have to make your planning for the hajj and the umrah in the following year. Permissible things in ihram, you could do them. No harm to take an umbrella. Okay, so the roof of a car or tent for shade is no problem. You might find people who are haji, they look like haji, traveling in a bus which has got no roof. Okay, believing that they have to be under the sun 24 hours. or as much as the sun is, you can't really cover themselves from the sun. Those are the Rafidah, the Shia. It's up to them, they want to burn themselves, but we, as Sunnah, we don't do such a thing. Alright? We don't, go to that extreme to go and what? Take off the cover or the roof of the bus or the car. Because they say that you have to be, you can't cover your head with a shade. No, you could have an umbrella, no problem about that. No problem as well to carry luggage on top of your head with touching your head, as long as you're carrying it for the what? For the sake of carrying, not for the sake of what? Shading. You want to shade, you have to lift up the bag away from your head. Wearing sandals that do not cover the ankles, if you have, no problem. Sandals that cover, no problem. If you have only shoes, don't have sandals, no problem. Even the cover of the ankles, no problem. If cold, you can put your jacket on top of your ankle, but don't put your hands through the sleeves. It becomes then makhit, stitches. Wearing a ring or a watch, wearing hearing aids, eyeglasses, or contact lenses, cleaning yourself with cleaners, even if it's essential, like for example soap and shampoo, no problem. Washing your ihram garments or putting new ones, wearing belts to keep your money, and using a mask on the face for necessity, like dust and virus. Now what are the pitfalls of ihram? Crossing the Miqat with ihram, without ihram. This is a violation of a compulsory act. If you cross the Miqat, the place where you're supposed to make ihram, you crossed it without declaring state of ihram, you have violated a compulsory act. Thinking that ihram is putting the two towels. No, you can't put the two towels today. A year before the ihram is no problem. Putting the two towels, it doesn't mean anything. Thinking that it's sunnah to make 2 rak'ah before ihram. No. These 2 rak'ah we said only if you are making umrah from Dhul Hulayfa by land, not by plane, because you're passing through that sacred valley. It's called Wali al-Aqiq, Valley al-Aqiq. Thinking that ghusl or wudu is a condition for the ihram. No. You didn't make ghusl or wash, no problem. In wudu, it's not required for that state of ihram. And covering the right shoulder. You find lots of people, they do that all the time. And that is during the Hajj and Umrah. It is bid'ah to do that. To uncover, that's called ibtida', the right shoulder, is only sunnah during the first tawaf. The first tawaf is called Tawaf and Kaaba, traveling, or the arrival tawaf. In those 7 rounds, you uncover the right shoulder. Otherwise, you don't. It is a bid'ah. Also, from the pitfalls of ihram, thinking that anything that has stitches is forbidden to wear during ihram. No, only sewn clothes made to fit the limbs are forbidden. Women in their menses, thinking that they cannot assume ihram. No, they could assume ihram and no problem about that. Women thinking that ihram requires particular clothes or white clothes. No, women can go with anything, with any clothes, but they should not cover their face. In their hand with gloves, they cannot cover their face with the niqab. Starting a Hajj or Umrah and quitting it before completing it, you're not allowed to do that. Right, now we're going to the Hajj. Hajj to the Masjid al-Haram. This is the Masjid al-Haram. This is Safa-Marwa. Can I ask those people who has been to the Kaaba? Put me just first, your hands up. Let's be to the Kaaba. Put your friend up, please. 1. Sheikh, put your hand, please. Help me. 2, 3. Why are you late? Why are the brothers like that? You know, they're asking 6, 7 times. Other people, we ask, shall I sleep, shall I not? Depends. But I'm trying to make it interesting, so help me. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, can I ask, because you're 2, you're sitting in a place which is good. I want to ask you, the ones who said yes, to go to that side. Imam, just push yourself here. So I want to make them the ones who know the Kaaba. Simba, you come here. Come to this side. Can I ask them to be on that side? Yeah. Close, get close. Imam sir. Just next to the other. I wanted you to see the brothers here too. That's okay. We've got 5. So I could tell there are 5. Yes. Alright. So the ones who haven't made Umrah, don't worry, I'm not going to give you £50 free. Come here, brother. Get closer. You put it then. And concentrate, please. Concentrate properly. Okay. Have you been to Alaska before? Okay, come to this side. It's part of the ship. Alright. Learn from me, Safa and Marwa. Fahid gate. I'm not going to ask you about Fahid. No, don't sit down there, please. Sit down, bring the chair. Sit down on the chair, yeah. My dear, they didn't allow the walls. Can you sit on the chair? You see that chair? Sit on that chair. We don't allow the walls. Abdul Aziz gate, I'm not going to ask you about that, don't worry about Fatih gate and Umrah gate. Okay. Now this is the black stone corner. Can you see what I'm pointing? That corner. And this is Yemeni corner. Right? Okay. Now please concentrate. In a minute I'm going to show you again with the Kaaba. So the distance between Safa and Marwa, you can see some almost quarter of a mile. Quarter of a mile. You understand that? Quarter of a mile. So if you go 7 times, that's less than 2. It's about 1.5 miles. 1.7 miles. Okay? Right. This is the new Kaaba, the one with extensions, the new ones. You see that? Now, because it's getting brighter and brighter, it's getting worse in the colors of the. And usually, the proper monitors, you'll find this with high resolution. And the difference between what you're getting and what I'm seeing is a huge. Can you see the difference in color? You're seeing something there, you're seeing something totally different. So, sorry about that. Right. Now, this is clearest picture you could get to the Kaaba. So clear, I'm really disgusted with it. It does not really give you the taste for that. Please, can you concentrate? Please, can you look in? Because when I ask you, so believe me, don't make fun of yourself. Right. Okay, that's called the door of the Kaaba. It's called what? Door of the Kaaba. You know the door of the Kaaba is being made to be high. Well, actually, it high is only the officials can go inside. So you've got a special ladder. They bring it to the person climb, go inside the Kaaba, and then they take it out if they don't want anybody to go inside. Clumsy they were. The Prophet ﷺ said, if the Kaaba was totally under my control, I would have demolished the Kaaba and rebuilt it and made for it 2 doors. I mean, the door stuck to the ground. But you, Aisha told Aisha, but you people, Aisha, they want to make the ones whom they want to go inside. X and Y and Z. Right. This is called Maqam Ibrahim. Now, I don't know if you can see it here in the picture. Can you see it? Now, it's very clear in my picture. There it's not clear because, as I said, because of the lights as well. That's called Maqam Ibrahim, Station of Ibrahim. What time is that? Asr? Oh, fine. Okay. Maqam Ibrahim is the place where Ibrahim alayhi salam used to come. When he builds the Kaaba, he goes back and he looks at the equilibrium of the building. So if the the bricks are, they are good or not. So he used to build it for a long, long time. He left a place, a spot there. This is called the Station of Ibrahim. This is where he made the dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bring him the black stone, which is the white stone. Okay? So that's the place, he left a footprint in that place, called Maqam Ibrahim. And Allah said, وَاتَّخِذُوا مِن مَقَامِ إِبْرَاهِيمَ مُصَلَّى. Take from the Station of Ibrahim to be a place for prayer. And imagine how many years they've been building the Kaaba. It's not equal to 1 or 2, plenty of years. Right, this is called Al-Hijr. They call it Hijr Ismail. They believe that Ismail alayhi salam, when he was a baby, his mother left him in that place, until the angel came. There's no such thing. That's a wrong name. It's called Al-Hijr. Al-Hijr means like something which is restricted, something which is blocked. Or Al-Hatim and Al-Hashim. 3 names is called. Hatim or Hashim. This is, basically, it is part of the Kaaba. What happened when Ibrahim alayhi salam, he built the Kaaba? This is not the Kaaba he built. The Kaaba he's built is 2/3 or 1/3 bigger than this one. So this one here will be included. So this corner will be stretched up to here. Can you see what I'm talking about? So that Kaaba will be as big as to include the Hatim or the Hashim. Meaning, if the person makes Tawaf and he takes a shortcut from there, his Tawaf will not be accepted. And that is why you find a policeman there staying. He will not allow you to make what? Shortcut, make Tawaf from inside. You're allowed to pray inside it. And if you pray inside, it's like you pray inside what? The Kaaba. But you would never be able to pray inside the Kaaba unless you are the president. Okay? But you have the opportunity to pray where? Inside that little semicircle, you could call it. Hatim means the destroyed. So it's part of the destroyed. When the flood came and demolished the Kaaba, Quraysh wanted to rebuild the Kaaba. They haven't got the financial capability. So they built 2/3 of it and left the last third as a semicircle. And you know the story of the Prophet Muhammad was when he had a young boy, they wanted to, because when they reached the black stone, who's going to put the black stone? Who's got the honor to have the black stone? They had a dispute. They said the first person who enters from that gate will settle the dispute. As soon as it was Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, Al-Amin, the trustworthy. They accepted him because he was known to be trustworthy. So the Prophet ﷺ suggested for them, that is, all the tribes will have a representative. And they will put that big stone inside a piece of cloth. And each tribe will hold like an end for that cloth. So that everybody will be what? Having no trouble. So everybody will be holding that black stone. So they accepted that solution fully heartedly. So this is called the Hijr. Now this is called the black stone. What is the black stone? Black stone is the cornerstone, which is the biggest stone that the whole Kaaba relies upon. And that was from Jannah. Now, if I want to call it the white stone, because it was not black. But it's known to be black. It was white. Whiter than the snow. What made it black? It's not a dye, nor is paint. It's something spiritual that took place, made it dark. Which is the sins of the kuffar, shirk. The shirk of the polytheism had made it so black. Who said that? The Prophet ﷺ. So even that shirk had left a physical print. Dark. The darkness. That is why it's so black. Just like these people are so black in their hearts. Yemeni corner. Yemeni corner means the corner that faces Yemen. And by the way, these two corners, black stone corner and Yemeni corners, are called Yemeni corners. Both. But when it comes to detail, they call the black stone as to be black stone corner. But it's actually Yemeni corner. Because both sides are pointing towards Yemen. Now you know that those are not two corners, are they? Because they are inside the building. Because the corner is supposed to be where? Here. So these are not corners, and they're not supposed to be touched. Whereas this one and that one can be touched. Because they are proper corners. These ones are not corners. Can you see what I'm talking about here? That's not a corner. Right. So, but they call them now, if they were stretched, they call them Shami corner and Iraqi corner. But actually, in actuality, reality, they're called Shami corner, facing Sham. But in detail, they call this one, well, Iraq, which is Iraq as well, the north of it is part of Sham, and Sham, which is Jordan, Syria, Lebanon. That's the direction of to Zamzam water, and that is to the Safa. What is the Safa, or what is the Mamza, what is the Zamzam? This is the time of Ibrahim alayhi salam, when he took his wife Hajj away from Sarah because she was jealous. And he put her in that place where there's no Kaaba yet. In the Bayt al-Muharram, in the place where Allah will command him to build the Kaaba. He put them there. No water, no crops, no crops whatsoever. He left them there with a bit of food and a bit of water. Like a water skin, little. And he left. When he left, she followed him. Hajj. You know the story of Hajj, how she became his wife. She'd been given to him as a present by the king. He had given him He's a present to his wife, to serve his wife Sarah. So he's a servant to Sarah. But he married her. And she is, and Ismail alayhi salam is her son. So when he left him, she followed him and she put her hand on top of the shore. To whom you are leaving us? You answer. To whom you are leaving us? Did Allah command you to do that? He said yes. Allah commanded you to do this. He said, if Allah commanded you to do this, then Allah will not neglect us. So she had the iman. Then he left and he went as far as he can't see. He started making dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to take care of him. Because he can't make the dua in front of him. His heart is soft, but he can't show the softness in front of him. In front of his wife. He left. She started giving the baby food and whatever the water, and then the food and the water ran out. And when she runs out of food and water, she can't feed her baby. So the baby started crying. And where the baby was starting to cry is in that area here, where the Zamzam water says. She left the baby, and she wanted to go to something high in order to see if somebody can help her. So she went to the Safa. So she went to the Safa. That's the Safa. Safa is the one we have mentioned before. It's like an area with like a hill, basically. And she went in there and she started making dua to Allah and looking around if there's anybody. She couldn't find. So she had to go to somewhere else. So she went down. There's like a place like a downhill, and then she got up to the second or opposite hill, which is called Marwa. She was Safa and Marwa. So she accelerated down the bottom of the hill, and she tucked up her clothes and accelerated upwards to go to the what? To the Marwa. The Marwa, the same thing. She made dua to Allah, if anybody there. She made that 7 rounds. Until Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent the Jibreel. When Jibreel came to her, she was on top of the Marwa. And the baby still at the bottom. So she said to him, who are you? Are you jinn or human being? What were you? And I am the messenger of your Lord. Straight away with his wing, Jibreel salam, he digs one wing, touches the ground like this, and then the water came out, gushing from underneath Ismail. Now she, Hajar, our mother, she saw the water, she doesn't want to waste the water. So she started putting what? Like rockets around it in order to capture the water. She didn't want the water to let go. And here the Prophet said, may Allah have mercy upon our mother, Hajar. If she had left the water to run, it would have been a river. But because she put that, it became like a well. The well and the well different from the river. But this is the wisdom of Allah Azza wa Jalla. If you think about it, yes, maybe the river is better, maybe it's not better. Imagine it was a river and running through different countries. What's going to happen regarding this water? Wars! Do you understand what I'm saying? There will be the war between such a country. So, we're going to go and liberate Zamzam from the Wahhabis. So Allah made the will, did not make that river. And that's the reason behind this. So you know the story now of Zamzam, Safa and Marwa. Let's go now to it. King Fahd Gate. Okay. Simba. Now you think, and that's the very simple question, what is that? Shh. Come on Simba, don't make me please disappointed. What is that? Shh. From the or the ones who do not go to Haram. Anybody would know? Put your finger up. You didn't go there before, huh? You didn't go there before? You didn't go there before? You didn't go there before? You didn't go there. I'm going to give it to that boy.
And the place of the
What is it called?
Huh?
What did you say? Go.
Place with the time.
Very good. It's called Miqat Ibrahim. Very good. That place you see, you're not paying attention. Maqam Ibrahim. Correct. Okay. It's your question. It's a bit difficult. Look at it. What is this? Not the corner. That semicircle. Al-Hijr. Can you give me another name? Hatim. Another name? Hashim. That's 3 names. So that's the Hijr, or Hatim, or Hashim. Very good. Right, my dear. I'm going to ask you, what is that corner? Very simple one. Shh, think. Draw it. Because I made you a different, when I gave you the view of the Kaaba from a different view. So wake it up now. Wake it on your head. Wake it on your head. Yes, I give you a different picture, you see. The picture was from the far, this one picture from this side. Give me, what is that? Shh. What's your name? Huh? Yalla Muhammad. Don't give him, don't cheat. Huh? You forgot? Give me any color. It is the black stone. MashaAllah. It is the black stone color. Very good. Excellent. Right. I'm going to go to the brother. What's your name? You go back. Umar. Yalla Umar. Give me that corner. Shh. Shh. That corner, what is it called?
This is the corner in the black stone again.
There's only one black stone. My dear, yes? You said Iraqi corner. Ah? Shami corner. Okay, from those, I didn't say yes or no. I didn't say yes or no. We're going, Amar?
Take Yemen corner.
Yemen corner. What do you think? Anybody from the ones who come? Went there, yes? Yeah, what do you think? Yes? You sure? You're not sure? What do you think, Imam Sahib? I think it's Yemeni corner. What do you think, my dear brother? Shami corner. It is actually Yemeni corner. It's the corner that precedes the black stone corner. When you're rotating, you come to the Yemeni corner, then the black stone corner. Always. So Yemeni corner. Right. My dear, the brother who's next to the chair, what is that corner?
I.
Yes, I. What's that corner?
Iraqi corner.
See, Iraqi. Who puts Iraqi says his finger up? 2, 3, 4, 5, 4 people. Okay, who says otherwise put your finger up? What do you mean? Otherwise, it's either this or that. I'm asking you, what is that? Yes, you. Why are you going up the back? You didn't pay attention. Okay, come on. Shami corner? Yes. Okay. So who says Iraqi? That's Iraqi. Who says Shami? Who says Shami? Put your finger up. 1, 2, 3. You said Iraqi. Okay, it says a Shami corner. And the opposite corner is the Iraqi. I want now any person from the ones who have been to the Haram. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What is this direction? Shh. Yeah. Come on. Marwa. Huh? Zamzam water. Correct. You be there? What is the direction? Safa. Not Safa-Marwa. Marwa is there. Marwa is there. This direction. This is Safa. Correct. Okay. These are inside the Kaaba. Inside the Kaaba, you have 6 pillars. Prophet Muhammad, when he entered the Kaaba, he prayed. He made 3 pillars behind him, and he prayed between the front pillars. He made 2 on his right, 1 on his left, exactly where King Fahd is standing. See that? That's where the Prophet prayed. May Allah have mercy upon him. Okay. This is the Kaaba that has a flood. Flood, proper flood at that time. There was tawaf by swimming, can you see that? Swimming 7 times. Okay. Right. Now, Tawaf al-Qudum, what is the arrival of Tawaf? Tawaf al-Qudum, the summary of it, you arrive at the Masjid al-Haram, from the black stone, Tawaf, Talbiyah and Ramal. And then the last thing, pray 2 rak'ah. That's finished. Let's just go to details. You arrive at the Masjid al-Haram, Sunnah to make ghusl as soon as you enter Kaaba, Mecca. Sunnah. Prophet entered from Banu Shayba, you could enter from any gate you like. When you say enter the Masjid al-Haram, you say the same dua when you enter any masjid. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad, Allahumma tahli, Allahumma rahmat. When you come to see the Kaaba, raise up your hands and see the Kaaba and say Allahumma anta salam wa minka salam fahayyina rabbana bisalam. This is the first, this is the only one. You don't do it every time you go to the Kaaba. It's only the first tawaf, or tawaf al-qudum. Okay? So as for entering the masjid, every time you enter the masjid, you say the dua of the masjid. But this one is the first time you see the Kaaba. First time, what? See? The Kaaba. Go to the black stone. Face it and say Allahu Akbar. You could add as well Bismillah Allahu Akbar. Now, it is a commandment to touch, kiss, make sajda upon it. But you're not going to be able to do that. Unless you're going to be pushing and shoving and kicking. That's not right. Keep away from it. Especially if it's the first time for you, don't do that. From far as you can, once you reach the direction of the black stone, say Bismillah, Allahu Akbar. How many times? One time. And the people say 3 times. And that's why the congestion takes place. That's every time when you rotate and reach that area where it is opposite to the black stone, people are not moving. Why? Because they're ignorance. They don't learn. So you want Bismillah Allahu Akbar and keep moving. There's no stopping. But when you keep like this and look at it, Bismillah Allahu Akbar, Bismillah Allahu Akbar, Bismillah Allahu Akbar. I said, well, what is it? Making jihad here? So every time. And he stops. And why? Nobody talked to him. Nobody talked to him. He's not willing to learn. Right. Do that at the beginning of each circuit. You don't have to touch the black stone for your Hajj to be accepted or your Tawaf accepted. You know, for me, I touched the black stone only once in my life. I didn't touch it like that. It was so empty. You know, it's not empty, but it's just so light to people. I didn't want to attempt to learn touch it. Why? Because harming a believer is haram. Touching the black stone is recommended. So which one takes precedence? Harming, avoiding the harm, or making the sunnah? Which one? Avoid the harm. And the Prophet ﷺ said to us that the black stone will be sent on the day of resurrection, testifying for those who touched it in the right manner. You will have the tongue and 2 eyes, the black stone. And he said, he touched me in the right manner. He touched me in the right manner. We find some people go there, shove and push. Sisters, they go inside. You must have seen them. They go inside, they want to touch us one. She comes out inside with hijab, she comes out without hijab, she says, oh, alhamdulillah, I touch it. No, sister, you've got lots of sins. She goes inside, wallah, she goes inside with hijab, full hijab. And she goes, no hijab, I've seen it. No hijab. Oh, I've touched it. She's telling other women, oh, I've touched it. MashaAllah, Allah. May Allah guide you. Somebody recently made Hajj. He said, wallah, I've seen what you have just said to me. This woman came inside, she had full hijab, she came out, no hijab. Tawaf and Qudum. Qudum means arrival. Tawaf around the Kaaba, start from the black stone, Kaaba being on your left, like this, which we call it what? Anti-clockwise, yeah? Anti-clockwise. Go around the Kaaba, past the black stone 7 times. Now give a gesture, don't kiss or touch or don't attempt, because it's too hard for you. And 2 sunnah applies to this tawaf. This is men's only. Ramal, which is called brisk walk. It's a fast walk. It's a duck walk. Thrusting the shoulders forward. It's not jogging. And in the first 3 rounds only. And from the black stone to the Yemeni corner. You know, remember they've got 4 sides of the Kaaba? So from the black stone all the way round to the Yemeni corner and this area, you don't make brisk walk, you walk normally. What is the reason behind this? Before I go to the second sunnah. Okay, the reason behind this, when the Prophet ﷺ, he made his umrah, which is called the Umrah al-Qadiyah, Umrah al-Qada, to make the umrah which was documented in the Treaty of Al-Hudaybiyah the year before. Because when they came into Al-Hudaybiyah, the Kuffar did not let them to make the umrah. fall back and make the Umrah the following year. In that treaty, the Quraysh has to empty the Kaaba for 3 days in order the Muslims would come, make their Umrah and go back home. And their souls are in their sheath. That means they're not allowed to pull them out. When they were coming from Medina, the Muslims, to Mecca, the Kuffar of Quraysh, they made a rumor. What is that rumor says? Oh, these people are going to be vulnerable, very weak, because they've been struck by the fever of Medina. You know the fever? Hot temperature. It's well known in Medina. But Medina have hot temperature at the time. So that is why they're very weak. Now, that's why the Prophet of Allah planned a strategy, which is to make them to see that they are not vulnerable, they are not weak, they are what? Strong. So, that is the strategy that he planned for them. The people of Quraysh, when they entered the city, Kuffar, they went on top of the mountain which is on the opposite of the Shami and the Iraqi corner. So, imagine this is the table, this is the Kaaba. That's the black stone, that's the Yemeni corner. If this is the black stone and the Yemeni corner, please, my dear, where is the Hijr? Which side? Which one? This side, correct. My dear, where is Maqam Ibrahim? That's the black side. Huh? It's where he is. That's Maqam Ibrahim. So this is the Yemeni corner, black stone, that's Maqam Ibrahim. That's the Hijr, the semicircle. Yes? Okay. The people of Quraysh are opposite to the Hijr, that side, on top of the mountains, emptying the Kaaba. So now, how many sides of the Kaaba they can see? 3 sides. This, and this, and this. But this, when people pass by, they can't see it. The Kaaba is too tall, too high. So when the Muslims pass by it, they can't see it. So the Prophet of Allah said to them, make this duck walk, strong walk like this. How many? 3 rounds. From where? Blackstone, all the way, duck walk up to the Yemeni corner. And then he walk normally, because they can't see you. Do you understand what I'm saying? Did you pray to Rakah, brother? You have to pray to Rakah before you sit down. Stand up, yes. It's a masjid. Do you not sit before you pray to Rakah?
Yeah, but no understand.
Sorry?
Speak English little.
Okay, صلي ركعتين. تتكلم عربي؟ فرنسي؟ Pray 2 rak'ah before you sit. 2 rak'ah, 2 rak'ah.
Kurdish.
Anybody speaks Kurdish? Kurdish language. You have to pray 2 rak'ah. Look. 2 rak'ah.
Now?
Yes, now, before you sit.
Okay.
Jazakallahu khair. Good boy. You understand now the story behind it? So how many rounds? 3. Now you could do that even your wife or your sister or your daughter is with you. No problem. Because you're not running. You just, so the shoulders like this. That's a strong walk. Have you done that? You could do it even with your mom. Have you done that? You done it? Very good. Have you done that? Very good. You done that, Imam Sahib? Very good. Have you done that, my dear brother?
Yes, I did.
Very good. Second sunnah is only for the men, by the way. It's called Iddiba'. As soon as you come to this tawaf, you put your hand to the right, expose the right shoulder, and that is in the 7 rounds. You do it in the 7 rounds. And this is only for this tawaf. And you don't do it well before, it's only when you come to the tawaf. And as soon as you finish the tawaf, you what? Straight away, you put your hands inside, you cover what? Shoulder. You'll find people that put it in 24 hours. 24 hours. You have to tell them, it's a bid'ah. Plus, it will jeopardize their prayer when they pray the sunnah, the 2 rak'ah behind the Maqam Ibrahim. Right. Okay, so this is the Kaaba, black stone, the door, Maqam Ibrahim, and that is the starting point, and this is how you make a tawaf. Can you see that in the Kaaba? Kaaba, Hijr, the Yemeni corner, black stone, Maqam Ibrahim, Iraqi corner, Shami corner, the line which is here, approximately starting point, and that's where you make a tawaf. And you make a tawaf here, from here, shortcut. No, because it's inside the Kaaba. It's from here all the way, 7 rounds. Okay. Now, state of wudu is required to all kinds of tawaf, whether it is the tawaf al-qudum, tawaf al-wada', tawaf al-ifada, tawaf al-voluntary. You have to make wudu. You have to be like in a state of purity. Now, a menstruating woman, she cannot make tawaf until she becomes clean. All kinds of tawaf, including optional tawaf, consist of 7 circuits. And after the 7 circuits, you go and pray 2 rak'ah behind the maqam. There's no such thing that I will make 3 circuits today for my voluntary. You can't. It's like somebody praying. What is the minimum? Or 1 for the witr. Can the person, I'm going to do it to the ruku' and salam alaikum ruku'. Can he, when he's bowing down, salam alaikum wa rahmatullah, can he do that when he's ruku'? He has to finish the unit. Same thing here, 7 rounds has to be. Minimum. Kaaba should be on the left. Do not make tawaf with your back or your right to the Kaaba. Okay? Tawaf shall be performed within the boundary of the Haram. Now, touch the Yemeni corner if you can. If you can't, no problem. But the Yemeni corner has got lots of people like the black stone. But you can't make a gesture. You can't say Bismillah Allahu Akbar. It's just touching it. Because you touch the black stone, you touch the Yemeni corner, also will shed some your sins. Right, touch it with your right hand. And I'm going to tell you what happened to me. You know that it is from the bid'ah to kiss the Yemeni corner. It is from the Sunnah to kiss the black stone corner. And if you can't touch the Yemeni corner, you cannot give a gesture like that, black stone corner saying Bismillah, and there is no dua for touching the black. So when you touch the Yemeni corner, you just something like this, and it will be sin forgiveness. In the first Umrah which I made, first time I went to Kaaba, first time. I'm going back now in the Christian era, 1990 exactly. 1990. How many years? 27 years ago. Now I know it by heart in terms of knowledge-wise. So the brothers who went with me is a coach consisting of 21 people. So it's mini coach. Or mini bus you could call it. 21 people. Those brothers, they said, you are our commander. The leader. Most knowledgeable leaders. Okay, I know it. I know to do everything. I haven't seen the Kaaba before. Now I have made lots of reading and I asked lots of people what is the best thing because they don't want to lose it. When it was Umrah, during the time there were lots of people there. So I said I don't want to lose my group. In that coach, only 2 people went to Umrah before. So they know they've seen the Kaaba before. So I said, we'll go to the, first of all, go to the hotel, we'll make our ghusl for entering the masjid. And you could really prepare yourself. And I'm going to make a flag. And because we did not prepare ourselves a flag, so I went downstairs to the hotel and I asked them for a broomstick. And then I looked, there's a flag, so I just took a can of Coke. The can of Coke, I put it on top of that broom. And I put it up, and I said, follow the can of Coke. I don't want it to get lost. So we came out of the hotel and all the way to the Haram. It's about 10 minutes, 15 minutes, I can't remember walking. Follow the can of Coke. So the ones with 21 people, you could see the can of Coke from far away. So we called the Coke group. Entered the Haram. Imagine the can of Coke is rotating around the Haram as well. Can of Coke is rotating around the Haram. Everybody's looking. It's like something to laugh about. Now, the Kaaba was not really congested. So when I came, and I saw people who are on a corner, and there are many, but they're not too many. And I thought, I'm going to settle. So I made, when I said, let me go on, to touch it. It's a good one. A good opportunity for me. So they're behind me. So I went close, until I saw a man there who's got a cloak, an old man. And these are employed by the Kaaba people in order to tell the people what is Sunnah or Bid'ah. So he's saying to the people, don't kiss, not to kiss. I didn't hear him what he's saying. So I came, kiss. So I'm kissing and 21 people kissing behind me. And the guy, he was looking at me, the old man, and he didn't say anything to me. He didn't tell me like the other ones, don't kiss. He went quiet. So all the 20 pounds, and remember the can of Coke as well on top. And there's somebody there who was the one who's gone to the Haram before. The last two, they're telling me, I can't hear what they say. So when I turned that corner, I found lots of people, more than the ones there. I've realized that I did not kiss the black stone. I kissed the what? The Yemeni corner. I didn't know that. What an embarrassing issue. So that, I can't reach that black stone, it's too many people. So I left it now, I said, brothers, by the way, I made a mistake. And then we said, we told you, it's not there, that black stone is there. We told you, I said, I didn't know. So we passed now, we got to the Yemeni corner again, I said, we're going to touch it. We're not going to kiss it. So I went to touch it, and I'm asking that sheikh, and I said to the people, don't kiss, bid'ah. I said, sheikh, why did you tell me off? He said to me, because I thought you were a sheikh and we got a proof or something. He was scared of knowledge. We got a proof for. I said, no, it's a bid'ah anyway. So I said, bid'ah. I told the other people, bid'ah, don't. When I was standing with him. And then we done the tawaf. This is what happened to me. And the first time I made Umrah, that is 1990. And by the way, the Asr prayer is pushing in, so I'm not going to read it. So let me just finish the slide. And between the Blackstone corner and the Yemeni corner, the following dua, between these two corners here, رَبِّ اغْفِرْ رَبَّنَا آتِنَا فِي الدُّنْيَا حَسَنَةً وَفِي الْآخِرَةِ حَسَنَةً وَقِنَا عَذَابَ النَّارِ. Oh Allah, keep us good in this life and then good in the hereafter, and save us from the punishment of the fire. There is no particular dhikr in that tawaf, so you may read Quran, you may say dhikr, but you cannot, you should not be talking about dunya-wise. For example, what did you cook today? What did you? Those things should be avoided. But also do not follow those books that have these du'as inside them, which is first round du'a, second round du'a. All of those are bid'ah. It's not right. Make du'a by yourself. Do not wipe walls, and avoid as well the shouting group. They call them shouting groups. Groups shouting, Allahumma, Allahumma. You can't even make it to concert when you do dua. You know, these dua people, always shouting groups beside it. They call it dua. Is that so? That means Asr prayer should be done. Okay, we'll stop here. All right, and I will going to finish the tawaf. Let me just finish it. Let me finish it 1 minute, inshallah. Tawaf al-Qudum. Tawaf is finished. Continue tawaf without interruption unless it is necessary, otherwise it will be void. When it is time for the obligatory salah, you stop your tawaf, join the salah in your place, and then resume the tawaf. So if you have wudu, if you have prayer of obligatory, go make your obligatory and go back to the same spot. If you need to go to the restroom, no problem. And in case of doubt about the numbers of circuits you perform, you have to base your decision according to the minimum that you could remember. So 6 or 7, then you'll make 6. So it's 6, you add up 7. If you get in doubt after you finish, ignore that doubt. And this is now finished the tawaf, alhamdulillah. After the prayer, we will have only 15 minutes. I haven't done anything to do with the sa'i or the hajj. I'm on slide 78. Total number of slides is 160. But I'm only half. Okay? I can't do the other half in 15 minutes. So I'll leave the time after this, after the prayer, for questions and answers. Okay? To tell you that I cannot be able to finish the presentation, so we usually have it in 2 sessions. But I said I will make the session full of information in order to leave no gap whatsoever and maximize my heavy dose for the first session. What is left from the Umrah is actually the number 1, Maqam Ibrahim, the praying of the 2 rak'ah, and I will summarize that quickly. And after you finish the 7th round, cover your shoulder, go to Maqam Ibrahim, say, وَاتَّخَذُوا مِن مَقَامِ إِبْرَاهِيمَ مُصَلَّى. You pray towards the Kaaba and you make the maqam between you and the Kaaba. and you could pray as far as you can, as long as you're praying the maqam between you and the Kaaba. And there will be a place, because the place is too big. And then you pray to rak'ah, first rak'ah, Fatiha and Qul Ya Ayyuhal Kafirun, second rak'ah, Fatiha and Qul Huwallahu Ahad. Finish that, you go back to Zamzam. Zamzam, you drink from it, you put in your head. There is no reward for making wudu with Zamzam, but Ma'u Zamzam bima shuriba. Ma'u Zamzam is according to what the intention you drank it for. So you say the dua of Abdullah ibn Abbas, Allahumma inni as'aluka ilman nafi'a wa rizqan wasi'a wa shifa'an min kulli da'. And the dua of Ibn Abbas means, oh Lord, I ask you for a beneficial knowledge, a healthy body, a cure from every disease, and also ilman nafi'a, and also a halal rizq, halal provision. Now after you take it from the Zamzam, where do you go to for those people who were going to Umrah before? You went to Umrah, didn't you? You forgot. Okay. You go to Safa. Where do you go to Umrah? What's got to Umrah for? Yes, you answer? Go to Safa. You remember that? David? You went there. Where do you go? Safa. All of you went to Safa 100%, but all of you missed something. You go back to the black stone. This is something all the people miss. They don't go and read it. This is not being taken from people who are it's to be taken to be the ones who are learn before they go. After the Zamzam, you go to the black stone. As close as possible, say Bismillah, Allah Akbar, then back to Safa. Don't worry about your Umrah. Okay, but I'm just saying to you, you missed the Sunnah. Go to the Safa, as soon as you arrive to the Safa, you say, Inna Safa wal Marwa min sha'ir. فمن حج البيت واعتمر فلا جناح عليه يطوف بهما ومن تطوع خيرا فإن الله شاكر عليم. You say it only once, and that's it. You don't say it every time you go to Safa. Then you get close as possible to the top of Safa. You might go, you don't have to go all the way to the top, as close as possible. Look to the Kaaba and say, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له له الملك وله الحمد يحيي ويميت على كل شيء قدير. لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له أنجز وعده ونصر عبده وهزم الأحزاب وحده. You say it without raising up the hands. You just say it as a dhikr. Then you raise up your hands, you say your own dua, whatever dua that you want. Put your hand down, and then you repeat again, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, La ilaha illallah, to the end. Then you put your hands up again, you make your own dua. Then you finish, put your hands down again, then you say Allahu Akbar, to the end. So 3 dhikr, 2 dua in the middle. That takes about 2 to 5 minutes. 2 to 5 minutes. Our people, you've seen them, they go there, come in, go in there, they don't really spend that 2 to 5 minutes. They just, and some people even, they just, the ones who are carrying the wheelchair, because they're making money out of it. You're just running, keep running, and that poor person, man or woman, just putting his hand like this in the camera, what he's doing. And by the way, it's wrong to put your hand, because people put their hands like this way. It's that way. Not that way. So they're saying salam to Kaaba. So they're saying salam, so like being rotated and then just putting their hands. And that's not the right way of doing the Umrah and the rituals. You go down from the Safa, you'll arrive to a green signpost, like lights, that indicates the beginning of the bottom of the valley. You keep running as much as you can to the other sign, the green signpost, which is in about 200 yards. That's indicating as well the bottom of the valley. That's when our mother Hajj, she accelerated. Then she went up to the second hill, the opposite hill, which is Marwa. In Marwa, you do the same thing as you did in the Safa. Then go back again, you reach the green signpost, you run. The women should not run, unless there is no men, which is impossible. And if there is no men, there's cameras, you should not be running anyway, because they will not expose their legs. So the men would run. If you want to run with your mother and your mother, you could run and wait for her. run and wait for her when you finished the other side. So, second round, third round, fourth round, fifth round, sixth round, seventh, you end up in Marwa. In that Marwa, you finished. In between, what dua? There is no specific dua, but there is one which is between the green sign, green post. رَبِّ اغْفِرْ وَارْحَمْ إِنَّكَ أَنْتَ الْعَزُّ الْأَكْرَمِ. You can repeat that. رَبِّ اغْفِرْ وَارْحَمْ إِنَّكَ أَنْتَ الْعَزُّ الْأَكْرَمِ. In the Marwa, shave or trim. Shaving or trimming has to be following the following etiquettes. If you're a man, from all over the sides. You can't just cut from here, then Mubarak, Khalas, Umrah, Mubarak, no. For all of them. All the sides. And for the women, they gather their hair and they cut a finger joint. They cut what? A finger joint, just like that. And the sunnah for the women, if they want to shave or cut, start with the right side, then the left side. It doesn't matter who cuts you. It doesn't matter who trims you. Whether it's a person who's with you, hasn't finished his ihram, or it doesn't matter. Now by this, you finish the umrah. You take off the ihram clothes and you get ready until the 8th day of the Hijjah. That's when you make what? Your Hajj. So now you are declaring state of ihram, so whatever was prohibited on you is permissible. Until the 8th day of the Hijjah, that's when you start the Hajj and you become in a state of ihram again. Hajj needs a lot of time to discuss, it needs another session. But up to here, we finished the Umrah. Any question regarding the Umrah, please go ahead. Yalla ya Umrah.
No, I want to ask a question, but it's about marriage, it's not about the Umrah. I don't know if you can listen to me.
Question about marriage, not about Umrah. Hang on, let's just see about Umrah before we go to marriage. Further.
If you scratch yourself and your hair falls out, does it break your statement?
If any hair falls from you, does that break it? Do you go with the Hanafis? If you go with the Hanafis, that's why. Any person goes with the Hanafis, they'll tell him that if you wash your head, any 3 hairs falling from your head, you have violated a something and you have to slaughter. If you come with me, I will not charge you with any slaughter. So we cheap Hajj. We don't really simply just put dung or blood on it. Like that. And they even tell you that when you wash your head, do like this. Haven't they told you this? In case hair will fall, with 3 hairs, that's it, you've had it. No, wash your hair like this. Okay, as hard as you can. The way that you want you to do it. The way that you do it normally. If any hair falls, it nothing. All of it to do with this, our scholar, Hanifa, rahimahullah, is a great scholar. But at this time there was no hadiths. Okay, there was no hadiths flying around, that's why. And that's why our brothers were the Hanafi, Shafi, they had to read more. To stick to one madhab and just don't widen their scope. And look at that. Look at the hadith. One day Abdullah ibn Abbas, he had a dispute with another person, how the Prophet of Allah was washing his hair while he was in Sayyid al-Ihram. They went to Abu Ayyub al-Ansari, high companion, older. And he was in the Hajj, it was in the Hajj. So he was having ghusl. They said to him, Abu Ayyub, we would like to know, how did the Prophet tell us to wash his hair? So he lowered, like a screen, he's got like a piece of blanket, he lowered it, and he stuck his head out. And he said, put water, like this, and he started rubbing his head. This is the way to wash your hair. Khalas. Who is better than Abu Hanifa or Abu Ayyub? Of course, Abu Hanifa, if he knew about Abu Ayyub, he will never say, you cannot touch your hair, or 3 hairs will violate your Hajj. Allah khair for that question. I'm sure that you prayed as well in Arafah, 2 rak'ah on the Dhuhr, you did not pray 2 together. Can't remember. You remember this? Jazakallah khair. Any questions? Fadl.
Those put their ihram, leave the shoulder out. For those who leave it for more than 24 hours, as you say, would that
That's a bid'ah.
Yeah.
That does not violate anything.
It doesn't violate.
But if you prayed with it exposed, your prayer is invalid. Imam Ahmad said it's invalid. Because the Prophet of Allah, he said, he who prays and let him cover his shoulders.
Are you allowed to make tawaf on somebody else?
Are we allowed to make tawaf on somebody else? You mean somebody in Mecca come with you, you can't make tawaf?
Somebody that's back at home.
You're not allowed to make tawaf on somebody else. whatsoever, just like you're not allowed to make a prayer on behalf of somebody. Tawaf is a prayer. But you're allowed to make Hajj or Umrah, that's including Tawaf and Sa'i altogether, on behalf of your father or your mother. If they haven't done it, for example. Then it's allowed. If the father and the mother didn't have any children, or the children they can't do it, then it will be passed on somebody else. But simply just, I want to do it with my cousin or my friend, no, you can't do that. No. We don't want to open that gate for everybody to make Tawaf. It's called now the business of making Hajj on behalf of somebody else. Company, making Hajj on behalf of somebody. Get one, pay for one and get one for free. Imagine, comes like that. Allahu Musta'an. It was a business.
When they pray in the Kaaba, what direction is they?
When they pray in the Kaaba, what?
Yeah. Where is the direction?
When inside the Kaaba.
Yeah.
Okay. If it's inside the Kaaba, you have to do like what the Prophet ﷺ done. They will leave the 3 pillars behind, and the 3 pillars in the front, you pray in between them. 2, one was right, one was left. You'll say to me, how the pillars in the Kaaba being built? They've been built like you're facing the door. You're facing what? The door.
So you face the door.
You face the door. But if you are in the Hijr, where do you face? The Kaaba, the one which is the building in front of you. Can I ask something? If you are beside the Kaaba, your angle of direction, does it increase or decrease compared if you are like in Bedford? Increase. You know when you are next to the Kaaba, this is the Kaaba now, I'm stuck to it. I'm praying like this, I'm praying to the Kaaba. Praying like this to the Kaaba, like this to the Kaaba, isn't it? Like this, I'm stuck to the Kaaba, this is the Kaaba. So all of that is to the Kaaba, because the Kaaba is even. The further I go away, my angle would be less and less. Now if you are in Bedford, if you tilt just a little to the right, you'll be to Egypt. A bit more, you'll be to Morocco. See what I mean? Just a bit. Now, marriage question, please. Oh, it is.
In Islam, if you went to marry a woman, she got a niqab, but you want to marry her.
You know what's a niqab?
She cover her face.
Cover her face.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
She cover her face. You want to marry her. It's allowed in Islam to let her take her niqab. You see her face to know if she's beautiful before you marry her. Because if you marry her, maybe you go, she's legal for you to take the niqab. Then you be like, you want to change your mind.
I used to believe it. The question is, can you marry a woman? If you want to marry a woman, she's got niqab. Am I permissible for me to see her face? Or should I take a gamble and marry her and I don't know what's going to happen? You know, these people used to tell me this, and I thought it was a joke. But I know a person who had married his wife and he did not see her. Okay, he's been told that this is a tradition. Thump it or lump it. No. Sunnah is to go and look at her. The Sunnah is what? To go and look at her. But you have to look at her in the presence of her mahrams. Like her father, her brother, or like her mother as well. There's not you on your own with her. And you see her face. Because you're not allowed to see her face. And if you are sneaking and you are intention to marry, you could see whatever you like. So let's say that you wanted that sister, ex-sister, and you want to see more than their face. You want to see the hair. You're not allowed to see the hair. You're allowed, you will call it like talassus. Maybe she's going to go and put the clothes outside now. She's going to come out with her normal clothes. Let me just look at her. No problem. It's a sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Prophet Allah said, if one of you wants to intend to marry someone, then let him look at the thing that makes him to like it. Muhammad al-Maslam is a great companion. He was seen and spotted by one of the followers after the death of the Prophet of Allah. And he was with his eyes watching a woman called Buthayla bint al-Baha, companion. He is following with her eyes. Where is she? At the top of the roof. You doing this and you're the companion of the Prophet of Allah? He said, so what? So I intend to marry him. And the Prophet said, he who wants to marry a woman, let him look at the thing at her, make him marry. So maybe you want a tall, you want a big, you want a fat, chubby, thin. You marry. You want to marry the one that you like. Each one has got his own taste, basically. Some people want thin, some want fat. So you want to. So if you go and marry somebody and you say to them, no, you can't see her face, brother. Like that brother who married, alhamdulillah, his marriage was successful. Him and his brother-in-law were inviting him. That means the brother of his wife. And I was on the invitation. He said, would you believe in this? You know, I want to complain to you. When I got married to my wife, she's his sister, didn't let me to look at her. I said, Wallah. And his brother is laughing. And he said, his brother, her brother, look at that brother. He said, look at my face, she looks like me, that's it. And he didn't marry her just by looking at his face. Because she looks like him. That made me laugh, but that is true. Alhamdulillah was successful. They come from a very strict tribe. Why you want to look at it? Just look at me, that's me. And both of them have the sense of humor. Alhamdulillah. Right. Last question. تفضل يا أخي.
I apologize to ask in Arabic language.
تفضل يا عربي.
من ذهب للعمرة من عند أداء العمرة هل ممكن له البقاء لأداء فروض الحج؟
يعني بدك تعمل تمتع ولا تعمل حج لوحده؟ تمتع لابد تكون العمرة هذه اللي عملتها في شهر شوال. هذا أقرب حد. ما تقدر تعملها مثلا في رمضان. شوال إن عملت العمرة في شوال بنية الحج تصبح هذه العمرة تمتع. حج التمتع. ما في بأس إن شاء الله. ما في بأس بإذن الله. طيب العمرة تستنى الحج إن شاء الله. واضح؟ الله يجزاك. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك.